All right.
Drinking and driving. It is Speed Week, Daytona 500, the season opener of the 2024 NASCAR season, and we're back for a brand new season, not only for NASCAR, but for the Drinking Driving podcast, our first weekly episode of, what is there, 54 driver races, it seems like? I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like there's one every week. Well, we did it last year, and we had like 2 off weeks.
I'm kind of being a little bit dramatic there. I love every second of it, and I'm excited that we're back. And the last year was not disappointing at all. Actually, a little bit disappointing. I do want to talk about our most disappointing part of last year. Well, I have 2 big disappointments of last year, but let's start there. Just what do you think about last season?
I thought last season was the first big season that I really got into watching every single race, being fully committed, and like following drivers. I thought it was very eye-opening. I always thought NASCAR was a little bit boring, but going to races, we've been to a couple last year, it's awesome. I love it.
I mean, as you guys know, we are not the biggest NASCAR fans in the world. We're not the most knowledgeable NASCAR people in the world, but we have the most fun, I think, out of anyone at those races. We have fun every single week, even watching it on TV, and we just embrace the NASCAR lifestyle, which is exactly why we had to start this podcast. I mean, I want everyone to be having as much fun, watching and being at NASCAR events as this. So,
yeah, and that's the big thing. Like, you don't even need to really like NASCAR to be able to have fun at the events. It's always a good time. There's something for everybody. But when you have some skin in the game like we do, even not knowing a whole lot about NASCAR, it's so much even more fun. And it's just a great experience all around.
Are you drinking with me?
I'm drinking with you.
Brother, this is what NASCAR is all about. I
have a rum and Sprite. No, doesn't.
No.
But I will.
Okay.
I will soon switch to a beer.
I'm that dog today.
You got the dog.
I got the dog in me today.
Well, this is drinking and driving, so we encourage everybody not to drink and drive, but to drink and listen with us. Just don't drive.
Watch some of the best drivers in the goddamn world here. All right, so back to my question. What do you think about last year? What was the most surprising thing for you?
Well, I was very surprised with Blaney. I didn't think he had enough to take the whole thing home. Thought he was a little older. So,
you thought he was older?
Yeah.
You know what I loved about that whole situation, especially with the NASCAR Netflix documentary coming out this past off season. I know you didn't get a chance to watch it yet, so I won't spoil it. But Blaney is dating. Oh my God! Why can't I think of his name? Blaney's dating.
He's dating a guy.
No. Oh, who's
his name?
Sister? No, he's dating someone's sister.
Oh, another driver's sister?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And they were both in the playoffs. It wasn't Bell. It wasn't Larson.
Harvick.
So it was no. Who the hell was the last
Truex?
guy in the Final Four? This is horrible.
Bro, it's been like 4 months since that happened. I can't remember.
All right. Back to my original question about last season. Let's just talk about what the most surprising part of the whole season for you was.
The whole season, I was pretty impressed with Kyle Harvick making the playoffs.
Kyle Harvick? Kevin Harvick.
Is that what I said?
You said Kyle Harvick. You mixed Busch and Harvick together there.
Yeah. Oh, that actually gives me another point of another surprising thing. But Kevin Harvick made the playoffs, being that old in his retirement year. I was pretty impressed, but I was disappointed with his performance in the playoffs. Didn't make it as far as I thought he would in his last year. So
I kind of figured he was gonna fizzle out at the end. I mean, he just couldn't make it happen towards the middle of the playoffs, and that'll happen. I think he didn't necessarily have a disappointing year, but
no, it wasn't disappointing. But how the year went for him, and then making the playoffs, like I had a little more expectations, or just, you know, like just hopeful that he would make it far in the playoffs and then say goodbye and maybe even win. But yeah, he did well, better than expected, so can't complain with that year.
I think that he is going to be one of those guys like Jimmy Johnson who's going to come back and get in a few of the races here and there. Um, I mean, I think he still has the talent. He was still a top 10 driver. I don't know how many races last year, but it was quite a bit. And so it just shows that he still has what it takes. He just may not have what it takes to be the, you know, big time.
Yeah, to be consistently the best in and out every week,
Yeah,
you know. But
right.
still a great personality, great person in general. And I'm sad to see him not be in the lineup going on, but hopefully we see him every once in a while.
Yeah. So my most surprising was definitely how disappointing Chase Elliott looked this year.
That is true, but after he broke his leg very early in the season, I really didn't have any expectations going
Um,
forward.
you look at
He had
his
enough time. He had enough time after the injury to kind of get a win, and he really didn't show
yeah.
up anywhere.
I think he had a second at a road course to Kyle Busch one week. That was the closest he ever got, I believe. I think, him being the people's driver, everyone loves him. I think he lost a lot of fans this year. One, he was kind of stupid to break his leg, either snowboarding or snowmobiling during the middle of the season. I mean, towards the
Yeah, I
beginning, but
mean,
I don't know.
as we
Like,
saw, the season is literally 48 out of like 52 weeks. So,
I know he
what
did
is their
break
off
his
season?
leg and came back for over half the season, so that's kind of ridiculous. You don't see a football player like snapping his tibia and then coming
Yeah,
back and playing like the rest of the season. But there was the big injury, and then I think he came back for one race, and then he let his emotions get to him, and I think he hooked Hamlin, and very obvious, wrecked him into the wall off of like the back turn, and that got him suspended for at least another race. And so going from like having a rocky start the first few races that he had, then breaking his leg, out for a bunch of weeks, Josh Berry taking his place, then comes back in trying to make a comeback, and had a hot head, boom, hooked him, now out for another race.
yeah,
I mean, to me, I was always a Chase Elliott fan, and I still am because I do like a little emotion coming out in the racing. That's what is so exciting for people like us that aren't like so involved in the day to day. Like, oh, I saw he tuned up his car to like this, and he's a tenth of
yeah.
a second faster. I don't know
No, we
anything
don't.
about
We
that.
don't know that. We're there for the crashes.
Me a good crash, and I do like when you get hot headed, like people just taking it out on each other. I do like that. Don't get me wrong, but Chase Elliott was a championship driver, and had he didn't even make the playoffs. That's
Yeah,
the biggest fall that you can make.
yeah. And to be honest, there wasn't a lot of conversation around him when he came back. It was kind of like the season was half over. Nobody really gave him. I mean, he's the people's driver. He was getting enough airtime, but like I don't know, he felt like just flying under the radar the whole time.
Yeah,
So maybe he lost. I don't know if he lost any fans. He didn't do anything like overly aggressive or terrible, but yeah, he just didn't gain many fans, I would say. But who did? Josh Berry, his replacement.
am I correct in saying that he is a full time driver right
He is
now?
now a full time driver right now.
That's awesome. Yeah, Stuart Haas, number 4, taking Kevin Harvick's number. How about that? I do like that
That's
Bush.
ballsy.
I know. So the it's gonna confuse the hell out of us all year, because I know me and you were real like we like a good paint scheme, and
Oh yeah,
so like I mean, say what you want about Bubba and the 2311 team, but they have some badass cars. And like the Luke Combs car at Daytona fall race, or I guess that would have been August. But yeah, the
yeah.
race before the playoffs that we went to, I loved that freaking car.
Yeah, that was
The
a sick car.
yeah, but
The Air Jordan car was sweet.
yeah. But back to my point, it's going to throw us for a loop. Josh Berry in the number 4 is not going to be a Busch car. The Busch car is going to be the number 1 Ross Chastain, and that's
Speaking
going to
of,
mess us up. You in a Busch Light? There you go.
it's
Drinking and driving, but
no.
we condone for sure watching the best drivers while drinking. So that was my most surprising, but my least surprising was definitely the fact that there were at least two Hendrick cars in the Final Four. I mean, they've been the most dominant team in the regular season, and then into the playoffs, they just haven't finished it out in the past few years. But they've just been so good; they've just been rocks. And to see Larson and Byron both in the playoffs, that's not surprising at all to me. I did, however, think, if we went to the beginning of the season, I thought they even had a chance to bring 3 drivers in and with Chase Elliott, but we
Yeah.
just got off his. I don't want to just keep pounding his head into the dirt after we already knocked him down. But
No, and we still love Chase Elliott. I love
of course,
Cheese. However, yeah, I think we had just higher expectations. Do you think it got to his head? Everybody loves him. He's the people's champ. He's just so high on his horse. Do you think that ever got to his head, or do you think it's something, just a bad year, broken leg, he just called it a year and so get it back next year,
yeah,
type thing?
I don't know if it got to his head. Maybe it did. Maybe it didn't. But I do know that this is the case in all sports. Is they always say after a long season, competing for a championship, being at the top, fighting every single day to be at the absolute top, and when you just miss out of a championship, or you just miss out of one of those championship 4 spots or whatever it is, right when you're just this close, that takes more out of you than actually winning the championship. You could say that the hardest person that worked the entire year may have been the person that got second place. And to come back the next year, or in this case, I guess that would have been 2 years ago that he won, but then to come back again and still make a run at the playoffs, and then that year kind of happened, he may have just been burnt.
Yeah, and you see that in football all the time. You see 2 teams go to the Super Bowl next year, neither team are in it, and don't even have a chance. It's just, it takes a lot of out of you to make it that far, be the best, and then either not win or come home with it, and then you're just I already did it. It's not the same feeling as winning it for your first time or whatever.
Absolutely. And to round out our last talk about last year, because we definitely want to make this, the focus is Daytona this week, the beginning of a brand new season, so let's not live in the past. But your favorite moment of the whole season, was it a certain race? Was it actually being somewhere? Was it a certain wreck? What was it?
For sure, Daytona August race in that wreck, absolutely insane.
Ryan Preece flipping
the
up upside down.
Nights wreck, insane.
Ryan Preece barrel rolled. I think it was 13 times around.
Yeah, that was insane.
And
we were there to witness it in person.
Yeah. Old Dick here. We were at the race. We were lucky enough to get spots there on the infield. And we were right there on the back stretch when it happened, and man, it was exciting. It was scary. We say it's the best moment of the year, but probably just the most exciting. Just our adrenaline was just pumping. Holy shit! Did we just see what we think we just saw? And then once we saw him get out, it was a little bit great. But
it was quiet at first, and then he at least was able to walk out on his own 2 feet. I don't know, did he? He got stretchered out, but
no. He did. He walked out.
But he was
all sorts of out there.
The day after, you see his eyes. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
But thank the Lord that he's okay and he's ready to go out racing the next week. Very next week.
Yeah.
Didn't even take a day off.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. I don't want to dwell on this because it's a preseason race. And to be honest, I'm not a big fan of Clash at the Coliseum. I'm fine with the Clash, like, just being that preseason race, get us all back into it. But I don't know about you. The Coliseum's not doing it for me.
I like it. I like the aspect of it, the visualization of it. I don't know if I would go to it. However, I did hear like the events surrounding it is like
Yeah.
awesome. The race is not a good race to watch. I don't like, there's not much going on. Like, you can't pass. It's just so short. You're going like 40 miles an hour. Like, I don't know what the top speed is.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
few drivers there. So I don't know. I don't like it. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
At least it's not for
Poor
points. If
execution.
it was for points, I'd be so against it. But it's just an exhibition race. That's all it's for. It's for
Right.
fun. It gets a lot of people there. It's in California, in the Coliseum. It's an awesome venue. So
Yeah, I think there is so much potential for that race. Like you said, the events surrounding it are just, it's like nothing else. They have all the native California rappers come out there, like people that you would never see at a NASCAR event. You got celebrities all over the place, concert after concert, and, just, it's a spectacle, but it's almost like you build this thing up so much and then you go to watch the race and it's like, this is what I
the
gotta
dud.
watch. Like 95% of the race is in caution because you are going 40 miles an hour. You are so close to people. You got 25 people on a quarter-mile track. You're bumping them and people turn. Well, when that happens, you go yellow, and none of those yellow flag laps count. So
Yeah.
it might be. I think it's a 150 lap race, and you're on lap 5. And 25 minutes later, you start lap 6.
Yeah.
That's what
I
it
think
seems
it's
like.
for, it is really for the celebrities, I think. I mean, everybody in California is not, NASCAR is for the rednecks that like to tailgate and drink beer and everything. But when you have this race, something like this, you bring in celebrities that never watch NASCAR. They're just there for the status, They go into the suites in the Coliseum, just drink like top shelf liquor, drinks, and watch cars go in a circle. They don't
Yeah.
actually watch it, I'm sure, but it's to gain fans of NASCAR. You'll see your celebrities like Justin Bieber. He'll never go to a Talladega race or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
but they'll go to this because it's in California. You know,
Yeah, I see that. I think NASCAR can do something a little bit better. I think you don't need to do it in a Coliseum. You can still have that atmosphere of like, let's make this thing a party for like a club party. You got a DJ playing. Like this is what already happens at the Clash. There's all kinds of talk about going somewhere else, like another road course, or like what other preseason track or location would you like to see? Because I know there's plenty of talk about going overseas. Try to
Yeah.
get that following of like South America, Mexico, even Europe. You could do another like city race, a street race, like not New York City, but I don't know, DC. Somewhere that's a
Yeah.
metropolitan area
You just
that
had
doesn't
me
usually
like,
get.
I was thinking like, why not go over to Hawaii? Just do like a road course over there. Like, I don't know if that's even possible, but somewhere new. It doesn't like Coliseum is like new. It's unique, and that's what they're shooting for. Do something like that every year. Like, just keep trying different things. Don't keep going back to the Coliseum though. I mean, it's cool once, but like, all right, it's not cool anymore.
You
Like
know
2
what?
years in a row now.
Yeah.
Don't do a third. That's not. Everybody now knows like this is not a good race.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually thought that Bristol Dirt Track was going to be like that, and because
Yeah.
the first one it built it up so much, and then remember the dust was so much or so high, no one could see anything, and it was just horrible. And then they actually came back and made it better, so it ended up not being a dud, and like it still has its allure. But yeah, the Coliseum's not doing it for me. I want a
Yeah.
preseason race. I might even want 2 preseason races. Like towards the end of the football season, I'm so ready for NASCAR to start. I got so excited for the Clash, and I put it on for a few minutes, and I was like, "Wow, this
Yeah.
sucks." I didn't even watch the end of it.
Yeah. I give NASCAR the props though. They're trying new things to try to get like new fans and everything. Like Chicago street race last year, that was pretty cool. It
Yeah.
wasn't as great as I think they expected, like they wanted, but it's still unique. At least they're trying new things. They're not going to go back to it this year,
Yeah.
but yeah, at least they're trying new things. Um, yeah, but with the Super Bowl over now,
Hmm.
sports are kind of dying down. I'm ready for the Daytona 500.
Absolutely. Nothing better to kick this talk off. I guess let's go right into Daytona first, and then we'll circle back around to just like a quick season preview. But Daytona, we've been there. You're a Florida native. Talk about what that atmosphere is down there at the track.
It's absolutely insane. They open like just pasture fields, like farmland specifically for this event, for trailers to come in and camp for the week. It's absolutely insane. They get so many people, 100,000 that you could fit in that stadium. It's tremendous. It's
Yeah.
awesome. You have the biggest infield in the entire country for speedways, bigger than Talladega. Talladega's a bigger track. You would think they would have a bigger infield. It's actually Daytona. They have a
Did not know
nice,
that.
yeah, they have, I think Daytona's like really upscaled too, kind of. Like there's a lot of, it's just more modernized. Like we've been to Dega too. Dega is more redneck. Daytona is like for everyone. Anybody can go
Hmm.
to it. I think that's why it's such a big event. Obviously, it kicks off the season too, but this attracts everybody, any sorts of sizes, any price ranges. You could find something there, and it's just huge. There's so much to do there. It's awesome.
And I'm sure, well, we had a tremendous time. Like we said, we were there in the August race this past year, and we had the infield. Man, was that fun. We were right there next to the lake. Beautiful. Wake up, you look over the sun rising over the lake, and then just beyond that, the beach. Like, there's just there weren't better vibes than well, besides being a little hungover when this was happening. But you wake up, you're just like, you look out there, nice, nice lake. You got the sun coming up, and then you see the AMR safety team coming around. They're blowing off the track. They're getting
Yep.
it already because yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, 8 o'clock. There's already cars on the track. There's not a moment that goes by. It seems like that there's not a car on that track. And
Yeah.
man, it's just vibes like tremendous.
Yeah. There's so much to do inside the track. There's so much to do outside the track. Whether you're infield camping or outside, like you could always just there's always something going on. You could fish on if you're inside the track. That pond is open for
Yeah.
anybody to fish in. People take their boats out. I don't really know how to get a permit for taking a boat out, but people do it. It's just awesome to see. Always free giveaways. That's every NASCAR event, but Daytona especially. It's just special.
I agree. I mean, how many cool things that we got for free at
I mean,
going to these
it's the
NASCAR
birth
races.
of NASCAR and racing cars fast.
Yeah.
You got the beach right there. You not many NASCAR events have you go to the beach and in the same day go to a NASCAR race. So
Yeah. So I want to not warn, but try to get people prepared. If you're making the trek down to Daytona this week, and especially if you get a chance to go on the infield, bring cash because people put up these makeshift like just pop up bars. I know they're probably not legal. They're just tips. They're donations. And man, you can go there and have the most awesome time. Go up there, ask for a drink. You have sometimes live bands playing at these random people's tailgates. It's just such a awesome time. But you definitely don't want to be that guy that takes advantage of the system because they can't beg you for money.
yeah,
They do ask for tips. So if you go up there and ask for a beer or ask for a shot or something, be kind, give them a few bucks. Like they're people like us, just trying to have an awesome time at the track. And if they start losing money, then they're not going to end up doing it. And man,
yeah, and
we
that's the
love
best
that.
part of Daytona. We need people like that putting on these events and just opening up their trailers like that, and it just helps everybody. So
That's right.
don't be that person who ruins it.
I just looked up who some of the famous people that are going to go to the Daytona 500 this year,
And we got
and we got
Taylor Swift.
No way. Waka Flocka Flame, We got Rob Gronkowski. That's a big one there.
Okay.
Jordan Sparks, the singer.
I love Jordan Sparks.
LaDainian Tomlinson, former
Okay.
NFL running back.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves.
Matrix guy.
With Sparks and Tomlinson. Oh, Reeves is with Sparks and Tomlinson? I don't know. And then
it's a
the
throuple,
country band Lady A. Lady
Oh,
Annabelle.
Lady A. Are they performing?
I had the schedule here, but I closed it out because this week is different. They did the qualifying today. We're recording this on they did qualifying yesterday. Sorry, we're recording this on a Thursday. They qualified on a Wednesday just because it's Speed Week. There's something going on all the time at Daytona this week. I pulled it up and now I lost it. I was looking at the qualifying.
Yeah, we got Joey Logano winning pole.
Yeah, that is not necessarily something I expected on a super speedway.
I mean, it's not surprising. I feel like Logano shows up here a lot. Just because it is the Daytona 500. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's one of those tracks that your car manufacturer probably plays the biggest role in the entire year. This is a place that, yes, your team, your actual racing team, you're working together very well, but all the Fords are going to be working with the Fords. All the Toyotas working with the type Toyotas. Chevys with the Chevys. So Ford has a very strong showing, I think. And, Logano, I guess, is definitely a part of that.
Yeah, I agree.
Fords and Toyotas this year have gotten new body packages. I think they're technically new cars altogether, but for you and I looking at them, there's not going to be much difference. But where this plays a role is these drivers don't know what the body is going to do when it makes contact with other cars. So you're probably going to be fine drafting. Maybe a little bit of a difference. You got to worry about that a little bit. But when you connect at a super speedway going 200 miles an hour, you don't know what's going to happen when a Chevy hits a Toyota hits a Toyota. When you're bump drafting, you don't know what's going to happen. Is it going to crumble?
Yeah.
Is it going to downforce? You don't know what's going to happen.
Wasn't that the complaint last year too? People would bump into each other and just spin out, and everybody was confused. How do you spin out from that?
Right.
And I think it was with the packages, and I think they're trying to help that with the new app packages. I know there's a new short track package.
The short track package is probably the biggest difference of the year when it comes to the actual car setups. But yeah, this is going to be a big change. Can you hear that?
Ooh, what do you got?
Tequila soda.
Nice.
That was way louder on this microphone than I thought. But that did sound really good, right? That sounded like a commercial.
I love it.
I'm going to pour the liquor in now.
I will hit up their sponsors later, and hopefully we sign something.
Yeah. So, I think out of anyone, like you said, I think the Fords are probably in the best situation.
I agree.
Just by teams.
Yeah, and they have Team Penske, so I mean...
Yeah, Team Penske's pretty strong. You got, Cindric and Keselowski. No, not Keselowski.
Blaney.
He used to be Blaney, that's right.
Yeah.
Defending champ.
How do you leave him out?
For what I had for breakfast yesterday.
It's been a long week.
That's why it's time for a tequila soda.
Now it's time to drink and drive.
All right, so, we talked about the Fords. Who is going to be there at the end? Who's going to be, I don't know, you don't have to say top 5, but, who are going to be the ones that at the end you're saying, it's going to be this person, or this person, fighting for it.
For the 500? It's so hard to judge a 500 because it's always someone you don't really choose. A couple years ago, Cindric, on his rookie season, he just wins his opening race. What? And then Stenhouse last year, nobody had him. He was probably one of the longest shots. So that makes me want to pick a long shot, just someone out of the blue. I don't know, but maybe BJ McLeod.
You'll find that we have some nicknames for just about every driver. We're trying to stay pretty pretty solid at the beginning of the year, so everyone learns the names, and we'll just ease you into
That is
these
BJ
things.
McLeod for people
Yes.
who don't know. Um, I mean, he's shown up a couple times and kind of impressed me at some super speedways. So maybe him, but I don't know. I don't know. Two years in a row, like super long shots. Maybe Logano's got it this year.
And stays up there.
Yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, like you said, it's a hard one to call. Not only because it's a long race, but you have so many people wreck out of this one. You
They're
have
trying to figure
first
out their
race,
cars.
yeah,
It's
first race of
the
the year.
yeah. They're trying to figure out their pit crew, their cars, who has the better car. So you just never know.
You
Like
don't,
in the team,
right?
so
And these guys haven't driven 200 miles an hour since last year.
different teammates. Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, we'll see a lot of, I think a lot of cautions. I think a lot towards the beginning, just because they're getting back, a hold of these things. I don't think that's going to put a lot of cars out, but like we see at Daytona all the time, come towards the end of the second and the third stages, you're going to see some big ones that will knock some cars out. Of course, you're going to lose some cars early, but we're going to start with 42 drivers, and I bet you the race finishes. We should make a side bet on this.
I was just
I'd
thinking that.
say
What do you think
I
the over
say
under is?
34 cars finish the race.
34.
Okay, wait. Let me preface this. Let me make it. I said 34. I say 32 cars finish on the lead lap.
Okay, that's a different bet.
Okay, fine. We'll just do finish the race. I'm fine with it.
Finish the race. I think we got around. I think that's a good line there.
Yeah, so you never know where that's going to pop up. It could be, that big wreck could pop up in the top 5 drivers and knock out a ton of people, and then the people at the back end up being at the huge advantage. Or it could happen somewhere in the middle. The front drivers, are fine, and then the back drivers are fine, and that's that middle crew. So it really just depends. That's what happened last year. It was, towards the front, big wreck, knocked out a bunch of people. The front and the middle, the road guys, they got knocked out, or at least put in the back, and you had the other guys, towards the
I
back
think that's
come in.
why
That's where
Daytona
Stenhouse came through.
exactly. I think that's why Daytona has so many like long shot winners because those big wrecks can happen anywhere, and sometimes a lot of times it happens at the front. So those back cars can take advantage of that.
Yeah. So
I will
that's
say
go ahead.
last year didn't have many overtime races. There just wasn't that many. I kind of expect an overtime race to start the season,
Ooh, that's a big one. That's a big,
especially at
big.
Daytona.
Yeah, I could see it. I think Daytona ended in an overtime race. Like, I think it was 3 out of the last 4, or 2 of the last 3, or something like that. I can't
Yeah, there
remember.
was one in August, right? So
Was it? Oh yeah.
I think so.
Oh,
We were
I don't.
there.
I
I don't
don't
know.
know.
I was drank a
I
little
don't know
too much
either.
that day.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're feeling ourselves. But the guy that I think is going to be battling is someone that has won Daytona a bunch. He's good at Daytona. It's Denny Hamlin. Now, I was high on him all year last year, and you know that I was always betting on him. We had our little side game, pick 5 drivers. They score based on their place in stage wins and race wins. And I picked him so much, and he got me a lot of points. I even pre-bet him as the number 1 driver. The championship driver. I don't think I'm that high on him this year. But I do think that this race, he's going to be right there, if not get a win. He is an experienced driver. He can avoid these wrecks. He is really good on the super speedway. He's got all the Toyotas, which are another strong team. I would say it would go Fords then Toyotas when it comes to manufacturers here. 2311 is also on his side, so you would have to say that he's got 2 racing teams on his side. I mean, it's hard to bet against Denny Hamlin, especially when you need your teammates at a race.
Yeah, that's probably a good call there. am a little hesitant because of the championship hangover and everything I just said about it's so hard to back it up. I can see it. I can see the headlines like, oh, he wins the first race back. Is he going to repeat? But I also feel like he cools off kind of early in the season as well and midway through. But I think eventually pulls it back together. I mean, it's not a bad bet though. He's a championship winner.
Yeah,
So
of course. So, of course, like we do every week after the race in our race debrief next week, we're gonna have to go through the paint schemes. We'll pick our top, few, talk about what worked, what didn't. But that for me wraps up Daytona. No, sorry, I want to do one more fun little prop bet. 100 is very famous for the beginning, the race walk, America the Beautiful, the convocation, and then the national anthem. But the flyover makes people cry every single time. What is going to be the flyover? So will it be, we've seen it be the bomber planes, we've seen it fighter jets, we've seen the Apache helicopters, we've seen whatever. What is it going to be and how many?
2 fighter jets.
2 fighter jets.
I can't name the type of fighter jets, so sorry, but it's going to be 2 of them. F-35s, F-15s, they get me confused.
Oh, I just know the ones that go phew!
Yeah, the fast ones.
I'm going to go with 5 fighter jets.
Okay.
5.
Like
they're gonna
like
make
a V, a 3 and a 2?
They're going to... Wait. No. It's, no, okay. No, it's going to be...
4, you mean?
It's going to be... No, it's going to be 5. It's going to be 2 up front and 3 behind.
You think it's going to be symmetrical?
One of those... Yeah, one of the symmetrical, but it's 2 and 3 behind it, and they're going to go in formation. That's my guess. We'll mention that next week. See who was right. I'm going to write that down. What you said, 2 fighter jets? 2.
One is forward, the other is trailing a little bit, but to the side.
Oh, but isn't that the lost soldier or something?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Should I retract my guess?
No, I'm pretty sure that's the Lost Soldier formation. I don't know.
Maybe
but I'm
going to
say
soldier.
I'm saying 5 in a 2-3. 2-3. That's Noah's bet. Okay. All right, let's just do a really quick talk about this upcoming year. One thing I want to really go through is expectations for a few drivers. And we're going to play a little game here. And I'm going to... Oh, shit. Let me pull this up. Yeah. Okay, let's get back to that. I want you to talk for a second while I pull something up. Who's most likely out of all the drivers to have a breakout year?
Breakout year.
Yeah, so someone that hasn't been up there.
Yeah, Josh Berry. I'm high on him this year. He's finally a full-time driver. I think he was a good replacement for Chase Elliott. He has some experience now. I think he has a really good shot at Rookie of the Year because this is still technically his rookie season.
That's true.
As a full-time driver. So I have high expectations for him. I think he could maybe get a win or two, maybe a couple top fives, and I think he'll really exceed expectations for his new team.
Yeah. No, I think I agree with that. I mean, I don't know much about him or really the Stewart-Haas team. You got Noah Gragson and Barry, who are both young drivers. But then you got Briscoe, who is experienced enough. So I don't know. I don't have enough information to go either way on Barry. I didn't have like a real, big standout, like who I think is going to break out, because the guy in my head, that I'm thinking of, he's been around a while, but he's never been one of those like big contenders. My breakout driver of the year would be Daniel Suarez. He's never.
Okay.
He's competed at a high level for a while. He's been up there in top 5, top 10 every once in a while, but is not a consistent driver up there. I think he's the one that's gonna make the jump. to an elite driver, someone that is going to be in the top 25. Not top 25, sorry. Top 10 to top 5, like, on a consistent basis. I think Trackhouse Racing has enough years behind its belt now that they're really starting to put something together. I think it's their year.
I hope you're right. I do like Daniel Suarez a lot. I love to root for him. It's just hard to sometimes. Last year, at least. So I do hope he pulls off some wins and he's up there in contention a lot.
All right, now we're going to go to that game since I pulled up the stats that I was supposed to have. So I'm going to say a driver's name and where they placed last year. You are going to tell me, are they going to be, at the end of the year, are they going to be above that standing or below it? So are they going to do better than they were or worse? The first one has got to be old Darrell Wallace Jr., Bubba. He was 10th in the World Cup Series.
I had high hopes on him last year. I bet him to take the championship cup home with him, and he did not. Because he sucks.
He was not great.
So I'm going to say he has a better year this year. I think he's going to be on the hot seat here soon because he had a super disappointing year. I think he's slightly overrated. So I'm going to have to do better.
Actually right there where he's got to be better. You don't think he's going to do better?
I think
Sorry, I missed it.
His emotion, no, I think he will because I'm going to just double
down on him.
And I think he has to do better. So I'm going to say he's going to do better. I think his emotions have got, that's his downfall.
Always,
he needs to clean that up. I think maybe see a sports therapist or something.
I know.
So, I mean, this is one of his last years if he doesn't succeed this year. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, he had 0 wins last year, 5 top 5s. That's not wonderful for a driver that has... I wouldn't say has the potential to be one of those elite drivers, but Denny Hamlin, his car owner, expects him to be there. He expects him to be a winning driver and always be in that top 10, but that top 5 needs to be broken a little bit more often.
I think he has the car. He has the car to do it. It's something with the driver. I don't know what it is because Toyotas look good. I mean, Denny, I don't know. So he's got to figure it out. His pit crew also is kind of... Just his pit crew just made a lot of mistakes too, so they need to figure something out there.
Yeah. Well, I think they didn't make as many mistakes as Bubba made it seem. I hate to say that, but like you kind of said, he kind of has something, he needs to probably see a sports psychologist, but he also puts a lot of blame and he plays the victim a lot. And actually, this is funny. So you haven't seen the Netflix documentary yet, but a lot of the documentary was highlighting the 2311 team. So Denny was on there a lot. Bubba was on there a lot. And Bubba said something I'm not quoting him here, but it was something like, we're not even supposed to be here. Like trying to say that...
he's trying to get a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Which is fine. Like, I'm a Bubba fan. I'm okay if you do that. But, I mean, it's kind of overplayed right now.
Yeah.
Try to perform at least.
Yeah. Well, at this point, I don't think he can use that excuse anymore by saying the 2311 team shouldn't be there anymore. Like, they have a strong team. Tyler Reddick is good. He's up there.
He made a run in the playoffs. He was... Yeah.
He was 6th at the end of the year, 2 wins, 10 top 5s. That's a solid year, and if you ask Denny, Reddick was supposed to be the number 2 driver, and it wasn't close. It was not close. Yeah. So Denny, after that comment in the documentary, I actually listened to his podcast. He said, "I'm actually very disappointed." He said that first of all, we're not an underdog anymore. We are not the little engine that could. We are supposed to be an alpha at this point.
Yeah.
And
2311 had both their drivers go to the playoffs.
Right.
So
no. Oh yeah, that's true.
You can't play that card anymore. So if you don't back it up this year,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I also don't think that Hamlin is someone that's going to put up with that shit.
Mm-mm.
So, like you said, it's a make or break year, I think, for him. Bubba's got to put out or shut up. Not
Yeah.
put out. Put up or shut up. Put out would be awkward. Anyway. All right, so we covered Bubba. We both think he's got to be better.
He's got to be
I don't
better,
know
and
if
I'm
he's
double downing. So
yeah. I don't know if he's going to be better, but I'm gonna go with better because he has to be.
yeah,
All right, this one I think would be an easy one. We kind of touch this, so we can go a little quick on this. Chase Elliott,
better.
he
He has to
ended
be
up.
better. It can't be much worse.
Yeah,
I don't
he
know
ended
what
up.
you're gonna say, but he's gonna be better.
No, that he's gonna be better. I agree. He was 17th, 0 wins, 7 top fives. He had that many top fives when we talked about it before, but I still think he's
He was
got to be
never
better.
really in contention. Yeah, he's gonna be
But do
better.
you remember? I guess that would have been 2 years. It was either 2 years ago or 3 years ago. Could have been his championship year. No, I think it was the year after his championship. He dominated road courses. It was not close. If you put Chase Elliott on the course with all these other guys on, and it's a road course, you might as well not bet him because the odds are just so crazy. He's so favored, and he backed that up. He blew them out. This year, he lost road courses to non-road course drivers. I mean, they did have the.
I think that did have something to do with his leg. I'm sure he said he was fine. I'm sure there's still a lot of pain in that leg, and those road courses are just.
That's true. You are.
It takes a lot
more.
out of you. You're shifting a lot, like a lot of twists and turns. It's not just lefts the whole time. It's a lot of different types of movements. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that might have something to do with it.
Okay. Now I feel like we're beating a dead horse here because I did end up picking 3 drivers that we already spoke about. But I have 2 more. One, Danny Suarez.
Danny
Better
Dimes.
or worse than 19th. 0 wins, 3 top fives.
He gets a win this year. Calling it now.
I'm writing that
He
down.
gets a win.
Clay.
Hot take.
Win. All right. Suarez with a win. That means he automatically goes to the playoff, which means he has to be above 19.
Exactly. What do you got for him?
All right.
You think he makes
gonna be
playoff?
I said he was going to be the breakout driver of the year. So yeah, I think he's going to be top 10. I'm going to say top 10 at the end of the year.
You think he makes it through a round in the playoffs, or he just makes it to the playoffs?
I think he mirrors almost exactly Bubba's year this year.
Okay.
So
Just
yeah, he made it through.
He skids through
but
just because
he makes it. Well, you said he got a win. I'm give or take on a win, but he makes it. Might be making it in that last race by points, but he makes it, and then he goes through one round, and then he dies out.
Okay, I like that.
All right, last one we didn't talk about him. He may be on that championship hangover as well that we discussed. He was in the championship 4, got knocked out early of the race. Seabell.
Christopher Bell, man, such a solid
4th,
driver.
2 wins, 10 top fives.
Mr. Bell. He was Final Four twice in 2 years in a row.
I believe so. Yeah. He was
Yeah,
always that
man.
driver that snuck in that people didn't expect, and they kept saying he's the
he's
underdog. He's the
solid.
underdog. He's not the underdog.
He's so consistent. He's so good. Every
he got
weekend,
so
week out.
unlucky this year with a car problem in the championship.
Yeah, his pit crew was supposed to have the best pit crew in the playoffs. Out of all the playoffs teams, he had the best pit crew, and
yeah,
they
but
just
it
shit the
wasn't
bed.
a pit problem. It wasn't a pit problem.
No,
it
they
was a
shit the
garage
bed though.
problem.
I don't remember what happened in the championship race, but
I can't remember.
They had a
exactly
lot of
what it
mistakes in the playoffs that prevented him from actually winning and really contending for the win. Seabell, it's going to be hard to go back to back to back, I think he has to do worse. I don't think he makes the Final Four.
So I know you watched the. Did you watch the? I know you don't have Netflix anymore, so you got to
No, I
get that
don't.
back up. But did you
Netflix
watch?
needs to chill and let people share their accounts.
That's right. Did you see the Breakpoint, the new season of
I did.
Breakpoint?
I watched a couple episodes of that, yeah.
Okay, so I don't want to put this on any of these NASCAR drivers, but
Oh, the curse?
the curse. So the
Oh,
Netflix curse happened. For those of you that don't watch any of the tennis on Netflix, so I think it was about five or so tennis players that were highlighted on the Netflix documentary Breakpoint. We go into the next season, and all of a sudden, every single one of the tennis players just shit to bed on the first
they drop
match
like
back.
flies in the
They
first
did.
major of the year.
Yep,
Yeah.
getting knocked out by people that are way undermatched. Like, I mean,
A
it
lot
was
of them
bad.
didn't even come back for the second season
Yeah,
because of that.
right, right. So I don't want to put this on any of these drivers, but Christopher Bell had an awesome year. He was highlighted in that video. I mean, of course, Blaney was too, and we didn't really talk about the curse or anything like that with
Yeah.
him. He's just one of those guys that, like, of course, I'm not guessing he's going to go back to back. He'll do worse, but we're talking about Bell. I think he has a Netflix curse, even though it's not going to be a Netflix curse. He's just you can be so consistent for so long, but to never reap those rewards, something's got to give.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it'll be Netflix, but you know who is very prone to the Netflix curse?
Who's that?
I think it's going to be Tyler Reddick. He had a phenomenal year last year. He dates a beautiful woman that is like twice his height. And he also had a child. So he showed up in the playoffs. He got a couple wins. He had a great year, over exceeded expectations. I think it's hard to back that up. And if you're going to call it a curse, fine. I don't know if he gets a win this year. I hope he does. I really like Tyler Reddick. So
Last year, that was cool.
yeah, yeah, he signed our flags.
Well, that talks about this year. I mean, we
Yeah,
talked about breakout. I don't really want to be negative and talk about it if anyone's going to be too disappointing, but
yeah,
I do want to just talk one more second. Like, the playoffs are insanely difficult to make, and we only have a set amount of races, and we only have a set amount of playoff spots. The more new winners there are every year, the more difficult it is to make one of those spots, especially on points. I think we're going to be in one of those situations at the end of the year that we have so many race winners that automatically make the playoffs that we're not going to get hardly any people make it on
really.
points.
You really think that? That's
I do.
never happened before in
I mean,
NASCAR history.
no.
That
I didn't say that every spot. I'm saying that
we were
there's
close
only going to
last
be
year,
there's
but we
only
only
going to
had
be a
like
few.
one or two spots left. I think one that
I thought
didn't
there was
win that
two.
many playoffs. Two?
I think. I don't know.
You could be right on that. I knew it was like one or two. I don't know. It's hard to get much closer than that. I think I don't know if we'll ever reach
Right.
that so
There's
many
gonna have
people
to
have won.
there's gonna have
I
to
don't know.
be some rule change if that's gonna happen.
I don't think so. I think
I mean, you can't
I think
go.
it's
You
pretty
can't.
good.
What if you have more? No, I think that's baloney.
I mean, you
I
win
mean,
one. You win Daytona 500. Stenhouse probably shouldn't have made. He's won another race though. Didn't he win two races last year?
no. He. I don't know if he made another top 10 or top
You
5.
know, you're right. I mean, so does he really deserve to make playoffs? How many points was he
He had.
behind?
Get
Like,
this. He had one win, two top 5s. So
yeah.
one of those
So
top
do you,
5s is
you
his
really
win.
think he
So
deserves
he.
it? I mean, I think that weeds out like the people that don't really deserve it. You just got to win. I mean, a win, don't get me wrong, is
But I mean,
just
look at
a
someone like
very high like thing to do. But I don't know if it's you got lucky maybe.
look at
Maybe.
you look at AJ Allmendinger. He
Yeah.
made the playoffs. And he was the same. Well, no, he had 4 top 5s, but still, he did not run very well last year. You have someone that isn't even in the championship series who got a win, who I didn't know this rule that he's not eligible for the playoffs because he doesn't technically get points. But that guy that won the Chicago race, he had a win.
Oh yeah. Wait, yeah. Why didn't he make it? What is the rule there?
You have to be a cup
Oh,
driver
full-time
to,
driver.
yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
But
No, that makes sense.
I mean,
You know, like if anything, if any rule does change, Martin Truex won the regular season last year and didn't make the Final Four. Like he should be an automatic bid. He shouldn't have to earn his way to the Final Four. They do the points, so like he starts with more points. So I guess that's like the fair way to go about
he did
it.
not do well in the playoffs.
But yeah, he shit the bed in the playoffs. But you won the regular season, and he doesn't see anything from that. I don't know. I think
well,
I don't know what the role they could change to have like him see something.
Yeah.
But
I don't have a lot of problems with the current playoffs because if you look at the 1, 2, 3, and 4 driver this year, they were the best drivers. You know, you have Byron with 6 wins, 15 top 5s. You've Larson 4 wins, 15 top 5s. Bell 2 wins, 10 top 5s, and then Blaney 3 wins, 8 top 5s. Like if you go through any of this list, the only other person you can make a point, well, there's
Busher?
2. You could say Kyle Busch could have made it. He had 3 wins, 10 top 5s, and then Truex 3 wins, 9 top 5s.
I thought Busher had like 4 wins. Didn't Busher have like 4 or 5 wins?
He had 3 wins, 9 top 5s.
Oh.
So that actually, that ties Truex. Oh, I still think that the best drivers made the Final Four, which means that the guys at NASCAR know more than we do, and we're never going to claim to know more than them.
I don't believe that.
And
I've been a fan for a whole year.
We've been watching it for a little longer than that, but yeah. So,
all right, do we want to round this out with the lock of the weekend?
I was just gonna say we'll do the lock of the weekend for all you bettors out there, and then we're gonna do our weekly shootout.
So here we got Dick's pick for the week. We got Austin Cindric, top 10. He's won in 2022. He has another top 3 finish in August of 2022. He was disappointing last year, finished in the 30 position ranges. I think he'll bring it back again this year, and I think he'll be a solid top 10. You can find him on FanDuel right now at plus 120. That's where you get the best price. He is running with Ford, which is great at this track in super speedways, and Team Penske, probably one of the best teams in the championship series right now with Blaney and Logano. Oh, and not to mention, Cindric is qualified at F4 right now.
Definitely intriguing, and I probably will have to bet with you, although I know you don't have the greatest betting record. Although you did make a lot of money on Cindric at Daytona before, so
I have won money on Cindric, and it might be slightly biased, but I think this year, I think this is my lock bet of the week.
All right, so sorry, I was banging on the microphone. All right. So, do you happen to have the qualifiers up? / do you know your top picks or your shootout picks this week? Because I can read off the top 21 that you have to pick from top. The top 20. Unless you have them, I don't want to bore everyone by saying it if they don't.
I don't have them up, but I already got my picks.
Oh, you already have your tier 1?
Yep.
All right, so do you want to
you can start it off.
Oh, I get to start? So, with the first pick of the 2024 Daytona 500, Tex picks Kyle Busch. Qualified 8th, Richard Childress Racing, 2nd year with Richard Childress. I always say that, Childress. Childress.
2nd
Second year, he's got his shit figured out. I think he had a decent year. It didn't fall his way at the end. Kyle Busch on the super speedway as my number one pick.
It's a good pick.
Wait, I do want to remind our listeners that were not around last year how this game works. So we each pick a top half driver. So in this case, we're picking after qualifying. So we pick whoever qualified between 1 and 20th, and then someone from the lower half, someone from the 20th to 40th position. Now, the way we score it, why don't you talk about scoring real quick?
Scoring, we do per stage as well as total. So per stage, if you win a stage, you get 10 points. Second place of a stage is 5. Third place is 3 points. If you win the whole race, it's 25 points. Second place, 15. And third place is 10. And then you add that to your final finishing position out of 40, or out of however many racers have raced in that race. So if you finish 1 out of 42, you get 42 points. If you finish 42nd in the race, you get 1 point.
Well, I this week, like I said, is off of the qualifying, but we otherwise when we draft earlier, we pick off of FanDuel odds. So whatever the odds are, the betting odds. So, all right, your first pick of your Tier 1 drivers, let's hear it.
I will go with Chris Buescher. He just had a solid year last year, especially at like every different track, actually. He's won a short track, mid track, and long track. So I think he's a solid bet this week.
Buescher. That's a good one. He qualified 15th today. Another Ford. You've been liking the Fords this whole episode. I like it. Number 17, Chris Buescher. All right, so snake drafting. You got your Tier 2 pick. I like to say Tier 1 and Tier 2 rather than the best and the worst or the top and the bottom. Tier 1 and Tier 2. I don't want anyone to be disappointed.
Sure, just give me Jimmy Johnson. I gotta go with Jimmy Johnson.
Wow, okay.
Just because, I mean, how many times can I pick Jimmy Johnson?
Probably only that time. This time or maybe a few more. I can't remember how many he's going to race this year, but...
Just awesome. And great at super speedways. You can't count him.
Yeah. Would he qualify 35th in the 84 car? Wasn't that...
You see my strategy there? I'm picking a middleweight and then a lower tier driver at the back of the pack because you always got that crash at the front, so... I think I'm hedging my bets with some drivers that are kind of not near the front.
Have we talked about this before? I gotta stay with the guys that we talked about a lot, and I know you probably don't want to keep hearing about them, but my lower tier, second tier, would be Bubba Wallace. Qualified 18. He's close to the top of that bottom tier, but he qualified low. I don't know. I like him just because of what we talked about. He's got to be better. Denny's been in his ear, I'm sure, all off season saying, you got to be there. The new headquarters opened up the past few months. They got in there. They got that big brand new racing shop that Michael Jordan funded from his probably pocket change. But he's got to be there. His only win was a super speedway Talladega.
Yep.
I think he's only
and
won
that's
one.
When I think he's won another one, but and that's when it got cut short, so he didn't even win a full race.
Yeah, that's right. I think it just made it through the second stage or something like that. All right, that's mine. And then our last picks for the viewers, we put all the racers on a spinning wheel. We only get one more opportunity to get a driver. Anyone. It could be the number one ranked driver of the week. It could be the last one. So random number generator wheel between 1 in 42 because that's how many cars are in, and
Do you
that
want to go first?
first. Okay, I'll go. Well, it's a snake, so I guess I would go first. So yeah,
Sure.
to be clear, we base these numbers off of the entry list. Entry list goes 1 to 42, the number of drivers, and they put the car numbers in numerical order. So, for example, the 99 car would be the 42nd. So here I go. I am spinning. I got the 19. So
Ooh.
19 is the 21 car Harry Burton.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. I
He
don't.
did.
I
Well,
don't
he
love
kind
it.
of did a little. He did okay last year, I think, at Daytona.
Remember.
Well,
I actually have the stats here, but my computer makes a lot of noise.
no, I think he was like a top half at least.
He was precisely. I forgot that I had all this information up. This is when you do your due diligence the year before. It's great when you have to reference things.
Right.
Harrison Burton. The problem is it takes so much freaking time. He ended 26th.
Yeah, he's top half.
No, do
Almost.
you understand that? Oh my God! You know what we didn't mention was that out of the 42 race cars last year, only 17 finished.
Really?
Yeah.
No
Yeah,
way.
Burton did not finish, so even if you picked him in our game, he would have been a -10. So
That
that's not good.
explains why we scored like 50 points last year total in our game. But okay. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
All right, and the last pick of the shootout would be Clay's role as the number 7, which is the number 7 car, Corey LaJoie.
Oh,
You talked about him. That's a good pick for you.
I did get him mixed up with someone else though.
What did you think it was?
I thought we did that photo shoot with him last year.
Oh, no.
That was what, Cody Ware or something?
Yeah. Cody Ware, I think he may be the number 7 in the Xfinity series, actually. Or maybe he was like 27 or 47 or 77 or something like that. He's one of those 7s, I want to say. Let's see. We'll do that before we head out for the day. Do want to just quickly mention we do not have any affiliation with NASCAR or any of its
Or
affiliates.
drinking and driving
Absolutely
on the
don't,
road.
don't drink and drive. We
Do it on the Wii.
That's right. Don't drink and drive. We drink and watch drivers. So can't emphasize that enough. Hey, I'm stopping for a second because did you know that the I'm on right now.
I did. I saw that when I was researching things on the offhand.
All right, yeah,
Saw
I'm
it was
not looking
live going on.
up Cody Ware right now because I got distracted. But we will see you next week. We will recap all of Daytona. Of course, the next race, as always, we'll introduce, talk about what happened, and what happened in the world of racing that week, and we will see you on the flip side, Daytona week. Woo-woo.